something wrong. Okay, sweet. Now I gotta figure out how to.
Okay, can you see your text messages if I text you?
If you text me on here, yeah.
On your personal number?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go in the back room because it's a lot easier to hear you and I'm not close to you. So I'll text you.
I think that's Liz. Who's my viewer? Are you my viewer? You're my viewer. No, that's Steve. Okay, let's get Liz on here.
I'll text you.
Hey everyone, so I am just getting Liz to join our live really quickly, and then I will start. I will add her on. So just give me 1 second, and then I can do that. Okay. Give me 1 second, Liz. I am just waiting for you to pop up. Easy. I just request to join you as a guest. Okay. Hey, Liz. Do you want to request to join the broadcast, and I'll add you in? It should be super easy. For some reason, you're not showing up. Okay, perfect. I see Elizabeth now. Let's see. Okay, I can add you. I am adding Liz right now, just waiting for her to add. Okay, now she's connecting.
Yay!
Hey, there we go. Okay, so before we start, I'm just going to give a quick little intro about us again, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro about Liz, and then I have a few questions for Liz, and she is going to answer those for us. So my name is Kayla Green. I work for United Water Restoration Group of Colorado Springs, and so a little bit about us is we specialize in water, fire, mold, and sewage damage. We do air duct cleaning and dryer vent cleaning. We try to be on site within an hour. We're 24/7, 365, and we do everything from the restoration to the rebuild. And then a few events that are going on this week too, for this month is the memoirs. So the memoirs is fantastic. So I just spoke at that last month, and their theme this year is, shoot, I don't know. I'll text it later. So they are True Stories Unfiltered at the 3 E's Comedy Club on July 26th. It's going to be at 7 p.m. They would like you to arrive at 6:30. Tickets are free. You go on their Facebook, you like it, and that is how it goes. It is a monthly Colorado Springs live show where the community gathers to share, discover, and unite through the tradition of true storytelling. And then also the fourth Tuesday of every month, Power Connectors networking event is a great networking event to go and talk about your business. I go every single month, so you'll see me there. It is on July 27th, and it is open to all and free to attend. It's an in-person event at 3 E's Comedy Club in downtown Colorado Springs. You can come whenever you want to and leave whenever you need. It starts at 5:45 to 7:45. And then finally on July 10th, Sierra High School will have a free food distribution starting at 11:30 a.m. and going until food runs out. So if you know anyone in need, please let them know. So this is a little bit about Liz. This is Liz, everybody. She works for Scott Anderson Agency. And Liz is a producer insurance agent with the Scott Anderson Agency in Colorado Springs. She is originally from the East Coast, but has lived in Colorado for about 13 years, which is half my life.
West Coast.
Oh, West Coast. Dang it.
I hope I did it right there. It's okay.
That's what I got. That's what you gave me.
I'm sorry.
She is happily married and she is a mother of 2. Woo woo. She also has a large Great Pyrenees Australian Shepherd named Allie. I love dogs. That's great. Liz is an artist. She is a published author of a children's book. What's the name of the children's book?
Milo and the Search for Home Sweet Home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I got to go read that one now to my kid. She is a strong believer in the giver's gain philosophy and paying it forward. I love that. I also believe in paying it forward too as well. And then one of her favorite quotes is, when a lion wants to go somewhere, he does not worry about how many hyenas are in the way. So you want to tell us a little about that quote real quick?
I love that quote. It speaks volumes to me because in life you're gonna come across many different obstacles. People can sometimes be obstacles, and you can't let people get you down. If you have your vision set, if you have that tunnel vision set on a goal, you're gonna get there. You're gonna come across some characters in life, and I guess that's what makes it part of life. They're entertaining. Some not quite so, but you need to stick with your guns and get to your goals. So don't let anything get in your way, not even yourself.
Absolutely. I love that quote. That is something that I also love. It's the first time I've heard that quote, but I'm a strong believer in the meaning behind the quote too as well. So we are now, I have about 7 questions to ask you today. And you can go ahead and tell us everything you want about that question, from as short to as long as you want. So the first question is, can you tell me about the business?
Yeah, Scott Anderson Agency is not my business. It's my boss, Scott Anderson. I'm a contractor for him, but I still call him boss, and I do it with respect. I actually met this fellow on LinkedIn because people spoke so highly of him, and I at the time I was working for a company in life insurance that wasn't very ethical, and I wanted to help people, but actually at the end of the day still feel good about what I was doing. Wasn't the case with that job. So I basically reached out to him as a complete stranger, and I said, hey, I've heard great things about you. Please point me in the right direction. I didn't hear from him in about 3 days, and I didn't know he was actually out of state at a conference, so he wasn't receiving his emails at the time. He reached out to me. We had a 3-hour conversation. I signed up to join his team 3 days later. It's nothing short of miraculous. You never know what's going to happen if you don't give it a shot, right? So I figured, what's the worst that can happen? I'll look like a fool reaching out to some important person. Scott moved here. He used to live on the West Coast as well, and he got moved over to Alaska, and he likes to call himself a self-proclaimed recovering insurance adjuster, right? He hated the job, and he came across so many people that didn't know what was in their policies, what coverage they had, if they had coverage or not. And so he strove to create a business where he could break it down for people in simple terms. Hey, you need this coverage, here's why. You don't need this coverage, here's what it's going to do to you, XYZ. And I love that he breaks it down in such a simplistic way for people. So genuinely speaking, he's a big figure in the community. He gives back so much to the community. Anybody that knows Scott Anderson, they will know that this is living testimony right here. And he just does so much for people. He's a pay it forward kind of guy. He's the one that introduced me to the giver's gain philosophy. He said, help people as much as you can when you can, and expect nothing in return. And you know, when I used to go to networking meetings, it was like dealing poker cards out. Boom, boom, boom. Here's my business card. How many people can I reach? And then I realized that that's I'm building a house on a crumbling foundation. It's pointless. He said, are you playing poker at these games? He said, here, I'm going to grab this card. Tell me this card that this person handed to you. What did you guys speak about? I couldn't put a name to a face. I didn't know, you know, I was looking at the card for clues, and he says, that tells me right there, you didn't build a meaningful relationship with them. So he's basically taught me how to approach people, how to talk to people, build meaningful relationships. It's not a Capital One commercial. We don't care what's in your wallet. We're trying to protect what's in it. And we're also a Dave Ramsey endorsed local provider. That's a kind of a badge of honor here. It's hard to come by that title. It means we have very high set standards on how we do business, how we comport and conduct ourselves. making sure we don't hand people out policies that are riddled with holes, so that if they get in an accident, I don't want to be the agent on the other side of that phone call if they have to call me now. So I know I help people and I can sleep at night.
I love that. I am a very strong believer in really getting to know the people that you're working with. That's my whole job, is to talk to people and get to know them and actually be able to put a face to a name when I get their business card. It's all about maintaining those relationships and actually helping those people and show that you're sincere. And from knowing you, you're a very sincere person. So everything that she's saying is totally honest and totally true. And she's very trustworthy. So you can tell that Scott Anderson is really a very believable company and a very honest company, which is hard to find. It's hard to come across nowadays. So second question, what policies do you guys offer as an insurance company?
Man, we have a lot of stuff we offer. I guess it tailors to everybody. It's almost impossible not to find a client unless you don't want to protect yourself. Then that's a client that's not for us. But we offer auto policies. This can cover motorcycles, ATVs, RVs, trailers. You know, if you have a horse and a trailer, we can help you with that. We don't cover courses though, budget cuts. So I'm sure we can help with that if we need to. We offer homeowners policies. This can range from a first-time buyer, a house that's getting constructed, a house that's been there since the 1900s. We've done it all. Renters policies. We also have umbrella policies. They're known as personal liability. It's just a little extra coverage in case your auto or your homeowners should not be enough. According to Dave Ramsey, it's the cheapest amount of money you're going to pay for the most amount of insurance. So on average, a $1 million umbrella policy that covers both home and auto, $16 to $22 a month in Colorado Springs. You can't get your fast food for that much these days, so it's a pretty good deal. We also do commercial policies, workers' comp, anybody that has a small business if you're worried about that, even general liability. Life insurance is last but not least. Yeah, so we cover a lot.
Well, I'm gonna have to call you for my auto because apparently I'm paying way too much for my auto insurance.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. You know, one thing that I found was funny is a lot of my clients, they get uprated or charged a lot more when they have no claims under their belt. And I say, well, in my professional opinion, I think a lot of the carriers rely on people to be lazy, not want to talk to us, because, you know, who wants to talk to their insurance agent? It's the same as somebody that wants a personal trainer and pays for it, you know? Mm-hmm. So in that aspect, when they come to us and they don't have anything in their background, but yet the rates are going up, I believe a lot of times the carriers like rely on you to be lazy and not check and see how long they can get away with it until you go, holy cow, this is $400 more than usual. And my auto, it's taking out of my auto withdrawal or whatever you call it. And then you get on their case and then you start shopping. So we're a broker. We work with a few carriers. It's kind of like when you have to go to Walmart and Sam's Club and King Soopers, but you can go to one place and they can get everything for you, bulk or small. And that's what we do.
That's honestly the way to go. Is really, like, it's shocking how many people won't check their policy anymore and be taken out of all this money instead of actually being willing to talk to someone. I worked in a field that did that. So it's great that you guys are honest and trustworthy and credible, and people don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, is Scott Anderson agency scamming me? No, because they are actually help you. So you got to tell me, what is your favorite policy and why is it your favorite policy?
That's kind of a hard question. I had to think a lot about this. I really do like the renters policies because, again, this can apply to somebody that, you know, they lost their house in a foreclosure, they moved, they can't afford a new house here. If your landlord's house burns down, they're covered. They can replace it from foundation to roof. What about your stuff? If you don't have a renter's policy, you're out of luck. I hope you're rich. If you're rich, why are you renting? You should own. I mean, there's so many things that tie into this. Typically at Scott Anderson Agency, we'll write a policy that covers $10,000 per room. Now, unless you're into MAC and Sephora, you probably don't have $10,000 worth of product in your bathroom. So let's say you have $1,000 in there. We would move everything from the bathroom, let's say $9,000 that's left over to your living room, where perhaps you have that big screen TV, your PlayStation, your Xbox, the other wives, I call them, with my husband. And so that way we can allot the money so that basically if anybody were to flip your house upside down, anything that would become detached that you own, you'd be covered. and you can start over again. Let's say that your house or your apartment does burn down, God forbid. You know, I've been through Waldo Canyon fire. That was no fun. I've had friends in Black Forest fire. You don't know what to expect anymore. All I've learned is be prepared. So in that situation, it's so nice to have loss of use. What does that mean? Well, if it's going to take them 1.5 years to build your apartment, are you going to be in a hotel the whole time? Or are you going to be crashing in the couch at Granny's? Like, hi, Grandma, me again. Remember? We want to make sure people are covered so they can continue living their lives in comfort.
I love that. I think people never think about this will never happen to me, but well, what if it does? You never really.
My God, I am the epitome of this will never happen to me. I'll tell you about it later, but oh man.
It's never going to happen to me, but then it does. And you're like, well, I am not covered. What do I do now? So what made you get into insurance, and what's the story leading up to getting into this field?
Well, that works out perfectly, actually. Being unprepared, right? That's what I think is my personal belief in the foundation of why we need insurance so much. In 2015, halfway through my pregnancy, I was diagnosed with a baby that had heterotaxy. It's a really, really rare heart condition that occurs out of 4 out of 1 million children. They said it was strictly genetic in my case. We don't know if it came from, you know, my husband's side or my side. I told him I'd rather not know. I carried a child to full term, and I lost him 1 day before he was born. His heart stopped. And it was a devastating blow to my family. I have an 11-year-old daughter, Liani. I have a 9-year-old son, almost 9, Savion. And our little guy, Renaud, even though the doctors told us that he wasn't going to make it, there was a heart surgery. He wasn't a candidate for a transplant. And it would have been a really difficult life. But we believe in a higher power, right? So we carried him full term, and up until the day that his heart stopped, his heartbeat was strong. He was fighting. And when he passed away, I had never heard of children dying, or, you know, in my family or anything like that. I have zero experience with this. Where do I begin? The bills that came in. Do we have a funeral for him? Do we cremate him? Shopping for a casket for a child. No parent should ever have their child succeed them in death. So it was tremendously difficult for us. Financially, because of the complications, I wasn't able to return to work for a while. It put definite strain on my health, and we were not financially prepared for that, Kayla. Nobody can prepare. And this is one of those, it'll never happen to me situations. I'm a good kid. I take my vitamins. I read. I do all this stuff. If you're the kind of person, and I'm just going to advise anybody, if you're the kind of person that says it'll never happen to me, you're the person it's going to happen to. Guaranteed. I'm just letting you know. Might as well be prepared for it. So when I saw how a lot of families, you know, I started doing research, and a lot of families were not prepared for these kind of things. It launched me into the world of life insurance. Nobody wants to think about that. You know, nobody wants to realize mortality, but you still need to be prepared for it. Working at that company was fantastic. However, I kind of tended to lean more towards, I want to take care of people with their finances while they're still alive and kicking too, not just after. So we can help with life insurance policies, but I want to start helping you now. What about your auto, your home? If something were to happen, are you prepared for that emergency? And so that's what got me into insurance, is going through a tough blow myself and realizing I wasn't alone there.
Wow, that makes me feel a little emotional, because I have a 4-month.
Oh.
Couldn't even like imagine losing him. Like, that would absolutely break my heart.
This is why I'm still fresh. I'm telling you, it was 6 years ago, but it still feels like yesterday. And it's when life hands you cards that are difficult, you are either going to crumble because you're in a pity party, or you're going to move on. And in honor of your child, you're going to make things work. You still have other people that depend on you, you know? So it's a choice, I feel like, you make, how you approach these things.
100%. And I gave a speech not that long ago at the memoirs and told a lot about that kind of stuff. And actually in college, I went through a difficult pregnancy where I actually miscarried, and it was hard. It really was. So, I mean, I didn't have to go full term and feel the heartbeat, because I didn't get to that point, but it's hard to lose a child that could have been yours, and you think about those what ifs. But I'm glad you thought about the positives and thought about like, I want to help other people now and help them get ready before the worst thing happens. So super inspirational, and I love that, and makes me connect a little bit better with you, because I have been through it, and it's hard, but it's how you take that situation and go on is really how it becomes. But so on a more happy note.
Yes, sorry.
No, you're fine. I love raw and open and honest. It really shows like you went into insurance for the right reason. It wasn't just because of a job. You wanted it for a positive reason. You wanted to be like, hey, this happened to me, and now I want to help people before it happens to them, because you never really know if it's going to happen to you. But if it does, you want to be ready for it. So,
and not just children. Kayla, I've been hit by 2 cars in my life as a pedestrian. Oh my God, I'm terrified of certain drivers. It doesn't matter, especially in California. Sorry, I know I'm from there, but
me too.
I've had my fair share of near misses, and I wonder. I was younger when the first car hit me. I was 13, and then when I was 23 again. What kind of insurance? You never know when something's going to happen. I'm a safe driver. I'm defensive, but I keep getting pulled up as roadkill. So I don't know. Where am I going with this? It applies to everything. It applies to your children, to your personal selves, your lives. You've worked so hard to put money in your 401k and your stocks and savings and everything, and to lose it all like that because somebody wants to claim a Frank Azar commercial, not my cup of tea. I wouldn't want to be the agent on the other side of that policy and tell you, I'm sorry, you don't have enough to cover this. Good luck when they take you to court. So we prevent that from happening. We're able to help people.
And that's like, I think of like why we work so well together is because restoration, you never think the damage is going to happen to you. And that happened to me. Like, you need the insurance to help it out, because if you don't want to end up in a situation, well, I'm sorry, like, it doesn't cover it. And that is really hard to hear, like, especially with accidents. You never know when it's going to happen, but making sure your insurance is actually good. You're not just paying it to say you have it, but it actually helps and covers you if you were to get hit by a car, which it blows my mind that you got hit as a pedestrian. I am so sorry.
Scar. I have a story for you. I love stories. They tell quite a bit. So I had a client, military couple with a young child, about 4 years old, and they just moved here from Virginia. We're talking about like 2.5 months ago, maybe, if even that. And I get a call from him last week. He said, Liz, I'm so glad you answered. My wife just got into a car accident. And I just went cold. I said, oh my God, is she okay? And out of all things, she was sitting in her car in front of a TJ Maxx with her 4-year-old son in the car. And a lady just like backed into her really hard, must have been going 40 miles an hour in a parking lot. She was reversing very hard. I don't know if this elderly lady like had accidentally mistaken the gas pedal for the brake, but she stuck around and she gave him an insurance card that was expired. There's so many people that will pay for 1 month of insurance and then cancel it and walk around with this insurance card. 40% of people in Colorado don't have enough insurance. 16% don't have insurance at all. We have policies that will protect you from other people's, irresponsibility. It's called underinsured motorist bodily injury. It'll cover you for that. And I think the sweetest part and the most rewarding part, and it made me cry, like I wasn't wearing waterproof mascara that day. Her 4-year-old's in the background. Mommy, are you okay? Mommy, are you okay? And I was like, honey, you're being so brave. Your mommy's going to be okay. You are such a strong boy. Oh my God, being able to take that person from anxiety and hyperventilation down to, okay, let's breathe. Let's think everything out, get home safely. That was so satisfying. Very rewarding job. So I'm happy with what I do.
I can definitely tell. It's definitely like hearing like a son or your kid of yours saying, are you okay? Like reminds you, oh my goodness, it's going to be okay. I'm covered. It's all going to work out. I can drive home and know that it's going to be okay. And that is the best thing about insurance and your company, is the fact that it's going to be okay. I'm covered. I'm safe. It's all going to be okay. So if someone is thinking about getting a career in insurance, what is the process of becoming an insurance agent, and what kind of what do they have to do? Like, how do they become an insurance agent?
Step one, make sure you have the right mindset for it. Some people do it to have the commas in their bank account. Money's great, but at the end of the day, you can have your pockets lined with cash and still feel miserable. That's step one. Step two, so make sure you're getting into it for the right reason. Step two, you can go online, Pearson VUE. You can actually just type in Colorado Property and Casualty or Colorado Life Insurance license, and it'll tell you the proper exams to take. They give you this fat Bible. I call it the Property and Casualty Bible. You can kill someone with this thing. It's huge, and you get to take notes and highlight your life away. Remember it. You take the test, and then a couple weeks later, your license arrives in the mail. So I've been licensed since 2018. I've been working for Scott. Actually, in 3 days, I will hit my 2-year anniversary with Scott, and it still feels like I walked in the office yesterday. So it's pretty simple.
3.
What's that?
I said happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You made it through the first year.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten rid of me yet, so I think I'm doing something right.
It's like a marriage. If you make it through the first year with your job, then congratulations, you made it through the hardest part. And I'm sure you're doing, I know you're doing a fantastic job. I know you're working for the right company, and I know you're doing an amazing. So if someone wants to get in contact with you and wants to talk to you about a policy, which I'm sure after this live, so many people want to talk to you, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
They can call me directly. My cell phone is 719-233-9984. And I'm not afraid to talk to people. I'm not your typical, Monday through Friday 9 to 5 agent. If it's Super Bowl Sunday at 6 p.m. and I'm not digging the action and you call me, I will answer your phone call. Piece of cake. If for some reason I'm not able to get reached, let's say I'm out on a vacation, which is rare, or I'm unable to get to my phone, our office is open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. and you can call them. We have very, very friendly staff. I couldn't do it without our team there. Scott Anderson, Sadie, we have Jayla, we have Monica. These are the, these are the foundation of the team. Like, they are amazing. They're the ones that get everything done. I bring them coffee as an offering, like the goddesses of insurance and God of insurance. You can call them Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and they can definitely assist you. Absolutely.
You're the 233, correct?
I'm at 719-233-9984.
Perfect. And I just added that into the comments too, if anyone wants to get in contact with her. I'll post her business card after, but that's just her number too as well. Is there any questions out there for Liz, or anything anyone wants to ask Liz about insurance or about her that is anyone's curious about? We'll give a few minutes.
Okay. Oh, Nicole, I just saw your comment. You're welcome. Honesty is the best policy, even if it's not fun.
It really is. I mean, it's so hard sometimes to be honest because lying is the easiest thing to do, but being honest is so rewarding. Like, it really is. And like for me,
I agree with you on something. Lying is not easy, because if you lie, then you have to put another lie on top of another lie on top. And my memory is not that great. So due to memory, I'm just going to be honest because it's easier for me.
Well, I feel like it's so easy just to be like, I'm lying, but I feel like me and you, I am a terrible liar. Being honest is so much easier to just get past it kind of thing. There's really no point in lying. It's just
Poker's not for everybody. I don't have a poker face. I'll go all in with a pair of twos. I don't play poker well. So it's pointless. And and that leads to another topic. Agencies. Like, I have clients come to me all the time on auto policies where it says like medical payments, and right next to it, it'll say client rejected. Was it ever presented to them in the first place? Did they actually reject it? Or did you just not tell them about it to make the price cheaper and check it off? You know what I mean? And so we kind of nitpick at the details to make sure that we're covered. We don't play games.
Yeah, you never want to be that company that's just checking a box.
Absolutely.
Being a sincere company is so important, for sure. Is there any like advice you would give to people like for insurance? Like, any of
Absolutely. Shop. It's your money. You've worked hard for it. I mean, unless maybe we don't get many. You've worked hard for everything that you have right now. Number one, protect it. Number two, because you've worked so hard, make it a point to call an agency once a year like ours. Call us once a year at least. Say, hey, here's what I have. Is there anything better? It never hurts to ask. We have a program that will actually identify if your rate has gone up beyond a certain percentage, and we actually call you and say, hey, we noticed XYZ, that your rate has gone up exorbitantly. Here's what we recommend. Now tell me how many insurance companies would reach out to you for that. Normally, they're happy if you don't call so they can get the commission on the higher price. Not our cup of tea. We are professional recommendation makers. We're going to look at several different companies for you to make sure you have the best rate. But in the end, it's your decision. We don't do any of that hard selling. If that's what you're looking for, I can recommend a few hard selling agencies to you. Just let me know. But that's not how we run business here at Scott Anderson Agency. Other advice? Yeah, it never, oh my gosh, this is my number one. If you don't know what something is, I'm begging you, please call and ask. Scott is like that guy with the commercial that says we know a few things because we've seen a few things. He has a story for everything. Some strange ones too. But we want to make sure, again, I can't emphasize it enough, that you protect your assets, that you protect everything you own. That's where we come into play.
That's great. I love that. And it looks like one of the questions that we got was, if someone's unhappy with their insurance, what would you tell them?
A couple of things. I've heard pros and cons of almost every company. Why? So I hate to pull a Jesus and answer a question with a question. Why are you unhappy? Is it the rate? That's understandable. Have you had claims? They can lead to higher rates, So the shorter your rap sheet of claims, the better of a price you're going to get. The second thing you have to look at is, so the first question is why? What about their customer service? Do they take 5 years to return a phone call? Do you have to picket in front of their office to get their attention? Like, it shouldn't be that bad. Are they approachable? Are you comfortable enough to call them and ask when you don't know? For some people, it's a matter of pride. Don't let your pride get in the way. But why? So what should you do if you don't like your insurance agency? Call us. Tell us why. Let's figure out what we can do to make it better for you. Another thing I ask is transparency. If you are straightforward and transparent with me, I can offer you the same. It's a mirrored service. Show me your policy. I don't care to look at your premium. If I see it, I'll tell you we're higher, we're lower. Here's why we can help. Or you know what? If we can't help you, we don't leave you hanging. A lot of times I can refer somebody to a colleague in a different agency that might be able to write. One popular example that comes up is dog breeds. Some carriers don't want to see the word pit bull on their forms, period, or German Shepherd. Some of them are more lenient. We have to make sure that we ask these questions so that in the event that, let's say you have a pit bull and it bites somebody, it becomes aggressive. If you didn't tell your insurance agent that you had that dog, first of all, they should ask. But if you didn't tell them, then they can wash their hands and say, well, good luck. It's not our problem. And so anybody can go on Geico and get a quote in 15 minutes. I love that little gecko. He's so cute. But are you doing a good job in that 15 minutes? Are those details really pulling up the reports and giving you accurate quotes? That's what we do. So.
Yeah, that's a big thing, is customer service is probably one of the biggest things for me in my criteria. If you have terrible customer service, I just won't work with you, because I strongly believe if your customer service is good, your business is good.
Absolutely.
I think you can take the time with each customer and treat them like their own and match their tone and empathize with them. That really shows not only the character of you, it shows how good the business is at hiring the correct people and training them correctly. It just shows a lot about a company by taking the time to really talk to someone and get to know them and figure out what their problem is. Why don't you like your policy? What can I do to help? How can I refer you to someone else if we can't help you in the way that you need us to help you, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. Take time to know them. And again, if you have the right intention in your heart, it's going to be a piece of cake. Perfect example. I had an ex Navy SEAL. This guy was so cool, paying over $12,000 a year on his home insurance. And I thought, well, he might have a mansion then. You know, let me look at his address. It's a regular old plain Jane house. He's not in a wooded area that's like covered and blacked out by wood. And I thought, why is it so high? Well, he had a couple of claims under his belt. And unfortunately, we were not able to help him. Pulled him over to my colleague, and she got him a policy at about $4,000 a year. That's huge. And it was right in time for Father's Day. So I was like, you're welcome. I know it wasn't me, but hey.
$8,000 a year. I mean, that's huge. I was making sure I could do simple math. So hard to do that simple math, I'm telling you. I have to get my calculator every once in a while just to make sure. But one final question that looks like we have from Christina is, what makes you stand out? Like, why? I mean, you told me all these things about Scott Anderson, but tell me, what makes you guys stand out of every insurance company? I know you work with us, but what is like so unique about you guys?
That is a fantastic question. Word of mouth travels slowly, I would say, if it's good news. Bad press travels at lightning speed. So when you have a lot of repeat, new, recurring business just through word of mouth, it speaks volumes. Why? Why do people keep coming back? We don't have a fancy office with a Coke machine and, you know, hydraulic chairs or anything fancy. We have old school furniture and it's fine. It's functional. What we do with our knowledge is impressive. What makes us stand out is we go the extra mile. We ask you 100 questions, because if we don't ask you that one question about what dog you have and something goes wrong, of course you don't have the right insurance, right? We are going to cover all our bases, and it takes us a little bit longer than 15 minutes to generate your quotes because we're very detail oriented. We're so passionate about our levels of insurance that here's a new one for you. A lot of agencies like to write policies just to have business on the books. We won't do that. If you are, for example, renting a house, your auto policy, personal injury and bodily injury limits should be 100,000 over 300,000. It's a lot. A lot of people have state minimum 2550. If you've ever been in a car accident and you look at an itemized hospital bill, you'll see an ibuprofen pill for $9. You and I both know, Kayla, you can go to Walgreens and get a lifetime supply for $9. For homeowners, we recommend $250, $500. It might be a turnoff, but we want to make sure we're covering our clients, right? So we don't accept everybody. We may not be the right ones. We're not a one-size-fits-all company. If somebody says, no, I'd rather keep $25.50, we'll tell them, we're sorry, you're not for us, but we can recommend you to somebody that can help you. So we'll let them down easy, but we're not willing to write a policy again that's riddled with holes.
I love that. I think personally, I would rather spend an hour on a phone call with an insurance agent who is super thorough and actually listens to my concerns and gives me the correct policy with all of my bases covered and all the holes covered, instead of, like, you use Geico, that takes 15 minutes. Here's your quote for everyone else that I'm giving it to, instead of really getting to know what I do and all that stuff as well, which I absolutely love. I love that you won't stoop lower than what your expectations are. You won't give someone a policy that you know just is not, like, it isn't good for them. It's not going to benefit them, and you'll refer them to someone else, and you're not just, I want the client, so I'm going to take the client. It's, are they fit? Do they fit with us, and do I fit with them? I think that is so important when it comes to getting an insurance company, because there are insurance companies that you just don't fit with. There are companies that just don't work out, and you have to figure that out. You have to weed through it. So I think, like, if you're thinking about an insurance agency you're thinking about trying out, call Liz. Like, she is fantastic. She knows what she's talking about. She knows how to get it done. She's very thorough. She'll take an extra few minutes with you to get you the right policy. And the company sounds amazing. And I appreciate you so much for coming out and listening. And Liz, thank you for coming on and talking with us and telling us about your business, about Scott. We are so excited, and I'm going to give you a call after this to set up a auto, because obviously I need something to change, because I'm at that minimum and I want to be safe, especially with the kid. And thanks for telling us about that raw moment. I really appreciate you being open and honest with us and taking the time today.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. But we not only appreciate Liz, but next week we'll be talking about water. Surprisingly, we're a restoration company. I know that's shocking. We'll be talking about water and how to spot water in your home. So that will be fantastic. And don't forget to go to the 3E's Comedy Club for the memoirs on the 26th, the Power Connectors networking event on the 27th, and on the 10th, going to Sierra High School for the food distribution. And I will see y'all next week. Thanks again, Liz.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. I will see you guys next week. Bye.